Hi there, welcome to this GEG Global event. We'll be getting started shortly. In the meantime, head over to the chat section and connect with other educators by introducing yourself. Share where you're from, what you do in education, and even your Twitter handle. And if you have any questions right away, go ahead and ask them there. And don't forget to click the subscribe button so you receive updates on any GEG Global events. Stay tuned, we'll get started shortly.
Hey guys, so glad to see everyone. My name is Shannon Moore. I am a co-leader for EC Open Chat, and I'm here to introduce to you all Stephanie Howell, who is going to give us so many good insights today about how to craft and create your awesome Google EC certification portfolio. So I'm going to hand it on over to her. We're so glad you're here. Feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Take it away, Steph.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I am so excited to talk about So You Think You Can Coach and talking about the evidence piece, which at first I thought was going to be very difficult. But then when I read everything, I was like, oh, I already have this. I already do this. And I just had to collect it and kind of put a bow around it and then send it into Google. So you probably have a lot of this done. And if you don't, we're going to just kind of brainstorm about what we could do to get our portfolios looking great and incredible so that we can become a Google certified coach. And so I already see a question in the StreamYard, or not StreamYard, in the YouTube chat that just says, what's the difference between a Google certified trainer and coach? And we're going to talk about that a little bit, but just a real quick, Google certified trainer is you're training multiple people. Coaching, you're working one-on-one with an individual to meet them exactly where they're at. So there is a difference in between the two programs, and also within getting certified for both programs is a little different. And so with coaching, there's a curriculum you have to go through. Same with trainer, you have to go through different things. And then with trainer, you take an assessment. Same with coaching. But coaching, you have to submit a portfolio, which includes a couple different things in the trainer. Where the trainer, you might submit a video and a couple other things. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And if you would like to go ahead and get onto the presentation, feel free to use this as a resource later while you're going through certification and having to remember, what do I need to do? What was the next step? What was that kind of timeline that I need to get this done in? Please go ahead and go to this bit.ly. It's http and then bit.ly EC Portfolio 20. So make sure you grab this resource. Again, you will probably need it throughout this presentation, and you will also want to go back to it after the presentation. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. A little bit about me. I'm Stephanie Howell. I am on Twitter. I love Twitter. And so feel free to follow me. I like to try to post different things. On every slide is going to be the bit.ly for the slide deck. So make sure you check that out. I'm an instructional technology coordinator. So I work in a district. I have 5 buildings. And I get to help teachers improve and transform their classrooms by using technology. I never thought I was going to be a coach. I always thought I was going to just stay in the classroom as an intervention specialist. I taught students with disabilities in 5th grade. And I never saw this in my future until I had people in my life come to me and just say, you're doing some really amazing transformational things in your classroom. I think you should apply for this position. And I really didn't think I was doing that awesome of things in my classroom. And I thought everybody was doing that until I kind of left the classroom and I realized everybody's at a different level. And that's what coaching is, I think, is meeting people where they're at their level and using that strength to kind of help them and pull them along to get them better. Everybody needs a coach, even your weakest teachers and even your strongest teachers. You have to be able to meet everybody where they're at. So again, I'm in Pickerington, Ohio. I'm a Google innovator. I'm also a Google coach, Google trainer, and I have my level 1 and level 2. So I also co-lead GEG Ohio with Eric Kurtz, and then I'm also a founder for GEG Global, or GAG, if anybody's listening. I know you guys love that. And if you guys have any questions after this session, feel free to email me at stephanie_howell@plsd.us or on Twitter. I can try to help you as best as I can. So let's go ahead and keep going. So the first step is, before you even apply, is you're going to want to go through and look at the 5-step coaching model, and you need to be able to work with teachers one-on-one in a setting. Okay, so make sure you're able to do that, because that's really the focus of the Google Certified Coach program, where if you're able to train multiple teachers, you might want to look at the Google Trainer. So those are the differences. Are you able to work one-on-one? Does your schedule allow that? Are you able to fit that into your life? And if you are, this is probably the right path for you. I know it's difficult for some people, but you really do have to figure out, can I fit this in? Because it is a time-consuming aspect to be a Google Certified Coach. You have to have 100 hours every single year. That's like your recertification process, and able to be a coach. So just make sure that you're able to coach somebody one-on-one, and you're able to follow that 5-step coaching model. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that soon. If that's a yes and you're able to do that, step 2 is the application requirements. So the first thing you have to do is you're going to complete the curriculum. Once you complete the curriculum, it's all on this website. It's pretty nicely laid out. You're just going to go here to step 1. You have to pass a test with 80% accuracy. So make sure once you go through this whole curriculum, it takes about 20 hours, and please take your time because there's so much information. Use the EC chat group to work together and figure out what you need and work together. Take it slow. But I also want you guys to know that this is a great time to start thinking about what needs to be done in your portfolio. Because as you're working through this curriculum, you can start to collect those pieces. So at the end, you're not searching for everything all at once. You're able to have it all together and you're ready to apply. So right here is the coaching assessment. It says it takes about 45 minutes. And you just kind of go through and you take the assessment. And again, you need an 80% or higher to take that assessment. Once you have your assessment and you've passed, you can start to submit your coaching portfolio. You need a short video and 3 artifacts with your portfolio. Once you have your portfolio, you're going to need a reference from an administrator or someone who is familiar with your work. So you do have to ask for somebody to write a letter of recommendation. This piece, I'm very type A, so make sure for all those type A people, you might want to ask somebody now to work on that piece, because it could take them up to 3 weeks to get that to you. And so when I found out that I needed a reference from somebody, I was like, okay, I'm asking 2 people right now, and then I just needed that one to submit. So you might want to start asking, who are you going to start asking for that reference? And then you also need your level 1 and level 2 certification if you don't have that already. So some of these you might already have. Again, some of them you might want to start working or looking towards those things. So again, the first step is that curriculum piece. We're going to go through the 5-step coaching cycle. There's a book study, and then you take an assessment. So the book study is optional. However, it is amazing. I have learned so much through the EC book chat that it has helped me become a better coach. Just listening to other people's perspectives. They meet once a month. The book study is about to wrap up, but I'm sure they're going to do another round. And it's just been really good to just meet with other coaches and hear their thoughts and ideas about different things. Again, the curriculum takes about 20 hours to complete, and then you have to work on your portfolio. And so here's the 5-step coaching cycle. So the first thing is you're going to just meet with a teacher and just try to understand where they're coming from. What problem in education are they dealing with? At the beginning of my coaching, I was just going into classrooms and just saying, hey, how's it going? And I had a lot of teachers go, oh, it's fine, you know. And I realized I was asking the wrong question. I should have started, what problem in education are you dealing with? And because of this 5-step coaching cycle, and it really starts at that point of just understanding what that teacher's problem is, I'm able to help them better. And just because it's no longer surface level, oh, it's fine. No, now it's like my kids, we're hybrid and they're not turning in their work and I don't know how to motivate them. We're getting real deep into these issues because of that relationship. So one of the first things you need to do is build that relationship with your teachers. The second step is you're going to start the brainstorming strategies. This is where we just kind of have a blank piece of paper and we're just throwing out every idea possible, every bad idea, every good idea, everything in between. And I'm just kind of working with the teachers and we're just kind of figure out, okay, what are we going to focus on next? Then we're going to figure out which strategy and tools we're going to try. And a lot of times I have to go into that classroom and co-teach with that teacher so they feel comfortable. Because if they see me fail, they're going to feel more comfortable trying it. Or if it goes great, they're going to have a lot more confidence with their next group because they saw it in real time. And then we kind of meet again and we implement and make improvements. So what went well? What didn't go well? Let's meet, visit, and let's meet again. So it's kind of that ongoing cycle. And you're really building that strong relationship with your teachers. And then you're focusing on reflections. So what did the teacher do well? What successes did we have? What failures did we have? What next steps do we need to take? And then the cycle begins again. So that is the coaching cycle that you will need to do. And it is time consuming, but you see a lot of transformation from that cycle. I think there were some questions that I kind of skipped over. So let me go real quick. Yes, 100 hours does sound like a lot, but it's not too bad. Like she said, it's about 10 hours a month. So really it's just focusing with that teacher, sitting down with them and really figuring out how can you meet their needs best. And I completely agree. It does sound like it's a lot at first, but just kind of break it up throughout your year and just know it's not in a month, this 100 hours. It's throughout a couple months, even like a year. So you're able to really focus on that teacher and work with them on this coaching cycle. Yeah, so has anybody started the curriculum, taken the assessment, completed a portfolio? Let us know in the chat. That would be wonderful. So please let us know. And then will there be another book study? Yes, there will. I see Shannon behind the scenes shaking her head. There will be another book study. They are also recorded. So we recorded all of the book studies from this first round, and you're able to go on our Global GEG YouTube channel, and you're able to catch up or watch them as you can. And then we will have another live session, so you're able to collaborate with different people also. All right, the references from the administrators have to be in English. I don't know that question. I would assume probably it could be any language, but we would probably need to talk to Amanda to get you a for sure answer because I'm not sure about that. I don't speak another language. I wish I could. All right. So the first part is a video. You're going to first create a short video describing how you use that coaching cycle. So you're going to explain in your video how you did every single step in this with a teacher. So that's your video portion. So make sure you kind of take notes maybe as you're doing this in real time right now, as you're prepping for your portfolio of, okay, step 1, I want to do this. Step 2, step 3, and then this is how I did it. So in your video, you're going to want to prepare that 5-step coaching model, just explaining how you did that with a teacher. Okay, artifact number 1, you're going to submit a coaching artifact that showcases your coaching interactions with teachers in your buildings. So we're going to go into more details about like, what does this look like? What could be submitted? And hopefully brainstorm with other coaches on what they have submitted or what they're thinking about submitting. Artifact number 2 is you're going to submit an artifact that focuses on data and you're going to analyze it. Artifact 3 is you're going to submit a coaching artifact that showcases a bright spot story from working with teachers, innovation, advocates, or students. Okay, so these are the requirements for the portfolio. These are the evidence that you need to provide to Google when you submit your, after you take the assessment. You're going to need to have all these different like portfolio artifacts to share with them. Okay, so the first one is the video. You're going to first create a video that includes the 5-step coaching model. I provided my example. It's probably not the best example that's out there because I'm sure AJ was like crying in the middle of it. I just remember something like that. But you just go over the 5-step model in 3 to 5 minutes. So again, you want to be to the point. What did you do? What did you not do? Or not, what did you do? Probably not what you didn't do. But just going over it, going over anything like the issues that the teachers were facing. And just remember to not put any student names or anything like that on your video. I submitted my video to YouTube. I think you can submit however, just make sure anybody can view your video or make it unlisted so Google has access. Don't make it public or private so that way they don't have access. So just remember that little piece. I know that's a huge piece with the Google Trainer as well. Okay, so here's my video. I had a teacher that was really struggling with relationships. And so I just kind of walked through what I did.
Now, and I use the 5-step coaching model.
So you can just see right here, I made a quick Google slide going over each of the 5 steps. And then I just quickly explained how I helped this teacher build relationships in her classroom through my video. And again, it has to be 3 to 5 minutes long. So make sure you don't go over and you keep it to the point. Mine was 3 minutes and 51 seconds. So please keep it in between that timeline. Also make sure you're going over the 5 steps. So you might want to create a slideshow just to kind of keep you going. You can see right here, I kept my photo at the bottom of the screen. And then I just showed, I had like a training resource for my teachers, and that's what we used to go through it. So I just kind of walked through some of the evidence that we had to explain what I was doing. Oh yeah, so what does this look like virtually? That's a really good question. So maybe you're going into a Google Meet or Zoom lesson with a teacher. So you're meeting with them before. What's your problem? How can I help you? Then the next step, you're going into, let's go back real quick. So we've got what's your problem? How can I help you type of thing. Starting to look at what can we do to help and strategies, kind of that brainstorming session with this teacher. So you're meeting with them one-on-one in a Google Meet beforehand or over the phone. And then you're going to start coming up with strategies and tools. The fourth one might be a little bit more difficult, but just inviting, trying to say, hey, can I just come in and watch or help you during this lesson? And co-teaching with them through a Google Meet or on a Zoom lesson. And just really working with the teacher through that. I think it can be done through a virtual setting. So just make sure that you're able to meet these needs and just meet with the teacher and work with them. Build that relationship. A coaching cycle really works best when you have that relationship already built with the teacher. And then again, you'll probably meet with them one-on-one to go over those reflections. And then I would just explain that in your video. Hey, we're virtual right now. And this is how we did a coaching cycle while it was virtual. We met through Google Meet and we talked about this problem. This teacher is struggling with engaging students online. This teacher is struggling with behavior. Maybe this teacher is struggling with getting kids to come to a Google Meet. There's so many different problems in education. You just got to figure out what are you going to focus on with that teacher. And then listing out possible strategies. What could we do to help this issue? How can we get kids online? How can we help kids turn in work? Whatever the problem is, working on those different solutions. And then going over in the video, what kind of strategies or tools you picked based on your coaching cycle or what the teacher felt would best fit her classroom. And then going over how you met with them, how you visited, and then meeting again to discuss those strengths and weaknesses of what happened in the classroom, what needs to happen next, and then really looking at that reflection of what went well, what didn't go well, and how can we make changes or what's the next challenge that we need to tackle, okay? So you're just going over this 5-step cycle. It can be in person, it could be virtual, as long as you're doing all of this kind of stuff. Does it have to be only one teacher? For your portfolio, I would focus on the 5-step cycle with one teacher. Sometimes you can do a coaching cycle with like a small group of teachers, but I wouldn't say doing it with 20 teachers is a probably very good practice, because it really wants you to focus on this one-to-one focus with teachers. Does the coaching cycle need to be 8 weeks? So it depends on what the problem is and who you're working with. Some of my coaching cycles, I think for this one, they do want it to be kind of that 8-week cycle just so it's that perfect time. But I've had coaching cycles that took 4 weeks because the teacher, her problem was something, we solved it very quickly. Other teachers, they've have a problem and we're still working on it past 12 weeks. And so every teacher's different, every coaching cycle, every problem's different. So just know coaching cycles can kind of last as long as they need before you work on another cycle. So just kind of think like, yeah, 8 weeks is probably your perfect time to practice one. But just know that they're kind of flexible depending on what the needs of that teacher is. All right, is there any other, I don't know if I had any other questions that I've missed. I haven't been able to keep up in the chat, which is great. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over to this Padlet. Feel free to add to the Padlet and keep this Padlet for reference when you're ready to start working on your coaching cycle and providing your evidence to Google. Okay. So remember when we were talking about the artifacts, the first artifact was to submit a coaching artifact that showcases your coaching interactions with teachers in your building. So some of the things that you might want to look for is you want to demonstrate how you built relationships and interacted with teachers. Okay, so really focusing on that relationship piece. How did I build relationships with teachers throughout this coaching cycle and throughout this whole year? So some examples could include meeting notes. So if you have any meeting notes with teachers, that could be your artifact. If you have a PD choice board, that could be an artifact. If you have a feedback form, maybe you ask teachers some questions about like, am I a good coach? And they submitted feedback to you. That could be evidence. Just make sure you don't include any information about those teachers or about those students when you submit this evidence. So what I submitted was a PD choice board. I created this choice board with my other coaching team. And I was able to do this because we were hybrid at the time. Well, actually we were remote. I lied. We were at home remote during this time, and the teachers had to complete this choice board. Now my teachers are all over the place. And so we had to kind of create this choice board that would meet them where they are. And so this choice board was to be differentiated for teachers and to allow for differentiation too, so they weren't bored during PD. A lot of teachers love this choice board, that it was a one-day activity. They actually took it and it went on for like 2 weeks just because they were so engaged with it and they wanted to learn more. So feel free again to steal any of these activities for your own. Right here, I submitted a letter of, it was an email that one of my teachers wrote to me. And so you might want to submit something like that. And then also I had some feedback from teachers. So you might also want to submit a feedback form that maybe your teachers filled out. So I just put 3 different examples of things that you could have submitted to Google for that first artifact. If you have other ideas, I'm gonna like give it about a minute. If you could just take this plus sign and add some other ideas of maybe how could you show you're building relationships with teachers? Okay, so I'm gonna give it about a minute. All right, so it's been about a minute, and yeah, I've seen like emails from teachers to his or her supervisors, a really good evidence of that. There is also a question, how did you decide who is getting coached? Is it by request, an application, selection, process? I think that's up to you. How I did it is I just did it by my relationships that I have with teachers and kind of who I'm already working with. It might also be set up by your admin. They might say, hey, this teacher is really struggling with this. Can you work with them? It might be by the teacher. You could do a Google form. I've also seen like teachers go through a coaching cycle and then they create some type of like video to kind of be like, hey, you should work with a teacher because it really helped me, you know. Most of it's word of mouth. My teachers will hear me work with one teacher and then they're like, hey, can you help me? So my schedule's really busy just through word of mouth. So I think to start off, you'll probably want to just work with who do you have the best relationship with, who's okay with you failing and kind of learning from that experience. So it can be multiple different ways on how you choose that. And then there was another question I saw. It was about, let me see if I can find it. So for this one, I focus on one teacher for my coaching cycle, just so I could kind of use that teacher as a guinea pig and she could kind of help me fail forward. And then the 3 artifacts in a video is what I've been doing this whole it was my last school year. So I used all that evidence last school year for my application because I submitted back in, I think it was like July. I had all of the curriculum done. I had everything done. And so I was ready to kind of wrap it up. So I worked with that one teacher and a couple other teachers just to help me get those hours in. And then the 3 artifacts are just from evidence that I've had. You only need to submit one to Google. I just wanted to provide a couple others. So I submitted my PD choice board. But these are just some other examples that I just wanted to show that you could add to your portfolio if you don't have a PD choice board, but maybe you have a really nice email from a teacher. It doesn't matter. Google just wants to see that relationship there and that you know your teachers. So only pick one. I'm sure they won't yell at you if you submit more than one, but really focus on one piece. Oh yes, Abid, we miss you. My presentations are cool even when you're not here. All right, I think I got, yeah, there was that one question again. These are just examples, but you could just pick one. That way you're not feeling overwhelmed. Okay, so then the next artifact is you're submitting a coaching artifact that focuses on data. And so you're demonstrating how you measured impact. Some examples include a time tracker or an analyst of survey data. And again, please don't include any names or any of that kind of information of students. So I submitted my Google Calendar because my Google Calendar is how I track and what I have to do for my boss. So on here, I just took a picture of my Google Calendar and I submitted it as evidence. And then I just in a Google Doc typed up like a quick like summary about what that screenshot was. And so I just said like I use Google Calendar to track data of meeting with teachers. In this example, you can see the planning feedback meetings I had with Murphy, who was one of the teachers that I coached. And I also said I co-taught with her in her classroom. In the details, I write what I work on with the teachers and who in my building principals see it, my other instructional coaches see it, my director sees it. So this is what I submitted. I know that last month you guys worked with Suzanne Summers. She has an amazing tracking sheet to help with this data. So you might want to sign up or watch that webinar of her recording, and it goes into detail about how she tracks. I have to use Google Calendar for my boss, so I don't use her system, even though I love what she does with it. But that's one way. Maybe you use a Google form. I worked with another coach who tracked her data using a Google form. So the teachers would sign up with her through Google form instead of Google Calendar. And I was able to tell her, where are they from? So which building, when do they want to meet? And then what are they working on? So she had all of that data being collected by teachers. I realized that didn't work with my teachers. They're more of an email type of group. So they'll just send me an email when they need to work with me or when they want to go through a coaching cycle. So you really have to build that relationship first, where Artifact One comes in, and really get to know how am I going to best help my teachers by tracking. Maybe it's a spreadsheet. And so I want to go ahead and just put a minute in and go ahead and add some more advice that you might have for Artifact 2. How might you track and use data? And feel free to add Artifact 1 too as you're brainstorming. I know things will just come up. But I just really want to there's a really good thing from Amy. She uses appointment slots. And so you might use appointment slots where your teachers can sign up to work with you. And then maybe in the description, they add what they want to work with you on. So again, just some really good ideas. They also, I saw Susanna's Connect.io on there. There was exit tickets. Yeah, exit tickets are a great way to know what teachers need and to get that data. Appointment slots, again, yep, more Connect Hub. And then Google Forms. So really good ideas. Keep adding to the Padlet even after. Feel free to just keep adding to it. This is here to help the community. And then again, yeah, you just need to do a coaching cycle to get certified, but afterwards you will have to do 100 hours to keep that certification. So in Google, I can kind of show you what that looks like after we go through Artifact 3. And yeah, lots of shout outs to Suzanne. She is awesome. All right, so artifact number 3 is submit a coaching artifact that showcases a bright spot story from working with teachers, innovation advocates, or students. So you're going to demonstrate how you've captured your data using examples such as bright spot stories shared in a Google Doc or a deck, and kickoff presentation or proof of engagement through social media. Please don't include any student information. So what I did is I used our Tech Connect. Every year we do a big presentation for our community that spotlights technology, and it's called Tech Connect. So we did one, and I used this poster to kind of showcase how we did it. And then that's what I submitted to Google, was just how we showed innovation and kind of showing how our teachers are using technology to our community, to our parents, everybody in Pickering 10. So that was one thing that I talked about, was the Tech Connect. Also on Twitter, I like to really share about our hashtag PLSC Pride. And so you'll see different things that I post from our students that I just like to share. So we have a hashtag, it's called PLSC Proud. And oftentimes I'll just share real quick, hey, this thing really was cool that happened in our classrooms. And I'm able to share that story that way. So this could be another piece of evidence if you needed another example. So this one was really cool. The teacher, it's been like a crazy year. She invited me into her classroom and I'm like, oh no, like what broke now, or what does she need now? And she just told me, she was like, I don't need anything. I just wanted you to come and see. I've been working with this teacher for 4 years. What you've taught me in 4 years. She had students working collaboratively, and they were morphing 2 stories together. So one student, they read this like book about Harry Potter. Another student read another story, and they had to morph those stories together to create a new story. And I was like, just like about to cry because like this year's been really crazy for me. And she just was like, oh, I just want to take a minute to show you all the amazing things that we're doing because of your impact and because everything that you've done to teach me. I do Tech While You Tinkle, and one of the things for Tech While You Tinkle was remove BG. And that teacher was like, I remember reading it, but I couldn't remember where. And I ran to the bathroom with my phone and I took a picture of it, and the kids thought I was crazy. And I'm like, you're making an impact, even though it's Tech While You Tinkle. So just, you can use that as an evidence, Tech While You Tinkle. I mean, it works if you do it. But then again, you can also use things that you're doing. So if you have other presentations. So again, we're going to do another minute. Feel free to add to any of these artifacts. And then we will go on to the next section once we get some more brainstorming done. And Jennifer just kind of made a question too. So teacher letter. So I had a teacher letter on evidence artifact number 1. Yeah, it could have been oh my goodness, artifact number 3. So it could have been either or. What I did for my submission is I attached all of this evidence in a Google Doc, and I just did a quick summary about why that fit with Article 1 or Article 2 or Article 3. So I think as long as you have that summary real quick explaining the artifact and how it kind of relates to the description of it, you'll be fine. So really some of these could overlap. So just know that it's okay if they overlap. Just make sure you kind of explain how they overlap and why. And then Amy was just wondering if anybody has a successfully using badging system for teacher tech PD. So if you do, let her know. I know Rachel was in the chat and she has a website. So hopefully Rachel can link that with us. It's a really good source for teachers. I think you can print the online curriculum. I just used it digitally, but I'm not for sure about that question, Steph. I'm sure they have it in a PDF model. Yep, there's the Badge Ed Tech. This is the site that has all the tech badging for teachers. So that could be an option if you're looking for that. All right, so just keep adding, yeah, student thank yous. If you think of things later, feel free to add this. Keep using this. Yeah, Calendly's another good way to track data. Feel free to just keep using this, okay? And real quick, because I know there's a ton of questions about this, let me go outside of my presentation real quick. So this is the activity app. And the activity app is where you track everything Google. So this is where you'll track your 100 hours. Maybe if it loads. While it's loading, here, we'll go ahead and go over here. The next thing you need is a administrator letter of reference. So here was my letter of reference. If you need to just see an example, I asked one of my principals. I worked with the teacher in her building, and I'm in her building all the time, just because they have a really good push for the coaching cycle and model. This principal is awesome, and she completely supports me. And if you have admin that support you, your job gets a lot easier. So this principal and I will oftentimes collaborate together, and she is so supportive that I know she has my back. And when she's meeting with teachers, she might just say, hey, why don't you check with Stephanie? I think she has some resources on this. So she really does a good job about helping me get my name out there to know that I am good to go. So just make sure you have it where it just kind of talks about your coaching role and what you've done for the school. So this was just an example if you needed to see an example, or if whoever you're asking for your reference, if they need to see an example, feel free to show them kind of my example if they need like a template. I don't mind. All right, let's see if that loaded. Okay, so on here, you can see I'm a Google certified trainer. So that's what the training events are. You need 12 training events a year. And then with the coaching, it says one-to-one coaching hours, and you have to have 100 of these hours. So you'll notice over here, my events and my hours. So events are different than hours. Training, you need 12 events. Coaching, you need 100 hours. Okay, I'm at 79 right now, so I'm not quite, I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet. All right, you can either upload by a CSV file, or you can view the template. So once you upload your hours, I upload one by one. Oh, just because, and then I go in and clone, and then I change it. You add the date, who you coach. I always do K to 12 because that's where I'm at. And then you do the country. And again, I clone all these so I don't have to fill out like this. Like I'm not moving states to coach. So I clone all of these to save time. There it is. And then if it was online or in person, and then how many hours you coach them. So typically I meet with a teacher for an hour, and that's, then I'll log that time. And then next time I meet with them, I add that second hour. And then here you add what's your focus? What are you focusing on with them? Is it assessment, classroom management, collaboration, communication, all of those different things? And then you just add a quick blurb about what you worked on. This really helps me too, just kind of know what we're focusing on. Okay, and then you can add other notes too. So that is just kind of what it looks like. Again, I just go to view all activity, and then I clone that event so I don't have to keep putting in Ohio because that's not going to change. So there's that.
Steph,
yeah.
Can I have you pause for just a second? There are quite a few questions that came through that I think would be good to answer at this.
Okay. Let's see the questions. So is it okay if it is from 1 year ago? I'm assuming that was the recommendation. I don't know for sure. I just got a recent one just so it was up to date. But I'm sure that would probably be okay. I would just ask Google before submitting that. And I would say if you don't have a supportive admin, begin building that relationship. You really want to get them on your side. So bring them coffee, bring them cookies, whatever you have to do, get them to like you. And I think too, one of the big things is my teachers really do talk highly about me because I support them also. And I think if your admin hears them excited and happy to work with you, it might help them change that relationship. So find your teachers that are wanting to continue to grow and get better, and kind of use them before going to those more restrictive or more hesitant teachers. So start with those teachers that really want to be there and that you're able to support maybe a little bit easier, that you already have a relationship with. And then through word of mouth, they should be able to open up to others. And I think just hearing how you're helping those teachers, they will speak up. If you're doing a good job, those teachers will not stay quiet. They'll want to share all of the time-saving tricks or everything that you've shared with them, and your admin's going to hear that. And then they probably will get more support to you. All right, in EDU app, as a trainer, should I shift my one-to-one training submissions to the new one-on-one section? You have to wait until you become a certified coach. None of those hours will count until you have that certification. So I wouldn't do that yet, but wait until after. So what I've been doing is all of my training sessions, if it's more than one person, it counts as a training session. If it's one-on-one, it counts as a coaching session. So just kind of think that way. Time frame. So you can submit whenever you're ready. If you're ready today, you're able to submit today. If you need 5 months, you take that 5 months. If you need a year, you take that whole year. I know a lot of people in the EC group, they're kind of working, I think, until December is like their goal. Like they want to be ready by January to submit and done with the curriculum by January. So over Christmas break, they're ready to submit that evidence. So just make a goal for yourself and figure out when you're ready to submit all of that evidence. But there's no timeline. Right now, it's all free. I don't know if that's going to be the way that Google always goes. I know right now for the trainer exam, you have to pay like $25. I could see them adding a price. So if you're looking for that free, you might want to get on board sooner rather than later, because I don't know what's going to happen. I think you can use the app as data artifact if you wanted to. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. You could also create like a spreadsheet or use their template in the EDU app. Let's see here. Right here. There's a spreadsheet template. You could just use that template if you don't have access. So I'll go ahead and let me see if I can get a copy of that, and I'll add it in the chat, and then I'll add it to the presentation as well. So that way you guys have a way to track some of those hours if you're looking to do that. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. And yeah, it's just what they do here. It's very similar to what I showed you before. So feel free to do that. Yep, very good idea. Yeah, it's a yearly renewal, so 100 hours each year. So that's about 10 hours a month that you have to really focus on this for your thing. And yeah, there's no submission window. It takes about 4 weeks to get your results back. So if you're looking to become a but you can submit any time in the month. Like I know with Trainer and Innovator, there's certain dates you have to have it done by. With this, you can just get it in whenever you're ready. Okay. All right. The next thing is you have to be level 1 and level 2 certified. So you do have to pay for these exams. Okay. Everything with coaching is free, but for these 2 exams, which you might have or you might not have. So I just really wanted to quickly give a shout out to the boot camp. Global GEG did an amazing job this summer on 2 different boot camps. They did level 1 and level 2. And you can go to the website. And then if you go up here to GEG, our Global GEG events, Google Boot Camp, you can watch all of the recordings for level 1 and level 2. So level 1 and level 2 are up here. If you need any help with those resources, there's so many different videos. There's slide decks, there's tutorials, there's cards that Judy made that you're able to use. So a ton of different resources that you're able to use with the boot camp. So feel free to look over those resources if you need to get certified in those 2 areas first. And then once you're ready to apply. So all you have to do, I make sure if you are on a school account, they might have turned off the ability to submit evidence like files. So I had to do this on my trainer domain. Let me see if I can hop on over. And so here is the form to submit. And you just fill out your email address, name, last name, city, state, zip, all of this different information. And then right here is where you attach your score of your assessment. You attach your short video. You attach your artifacts number 1, 2, and 3. So I just downloaded those as a PDF and then uploaded them. Here's where you attach your letter to your administrator. So everything's very laid out on how you want to touch it. You do want to have everything kind of like ready because it's a Google form and just ready to submit rather than like uploading having that on some tab. Just make sure you have everything ready. So I just made a folder in my drive of just evidence 1, evidence 2, evidence 3, my video, and then I was able to add that to my information. Well, thank you. Let's see. And then the submission review process, it takes about 4 weeks. So just be patient during those 4 weeks while you're waiting. And then once you get the results back, you'll know if you're a coach or if you need to reapply. And so just make sure you have everything ready to go and submit, and then just know that it does take 4 weeks, and it's just an ongoing process that they look at those applications. And so after you are certified, you just have to work with a teacher one-on-one and log 100 or more coaching hours per year in the Edu activity app. So that's where we showed you that activity app, and you just log those hours with meeting with teachers or when you prepped for those meetings. And then again, coaching is different from trainer. Trainer, you're working with multiple teachers. Coaching is more of that one-to-one. So that is the biggest difference between the coach program and the trainer program. And then if you have any questions, you can always reach out to the coaching program's email. If I was unable to answer any of those, there is their email address. Or if there's something that you didn't ask and I'm able to answer, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or right now during this time, or email. And is there any other questions that I might have missed? I will wait a couple seconds. If there's any other questions. If not, that's all you have to do. I know it's a lot, not like all you have to do. But I think too, a lot of you, if you've been coaching for a while, you have this evidence somewhere in your drive, or you're doing this evidence right now. So just go through your drive, think about what kind of things do I need? How can I get ready for this certification, and just kind of start a drive folder with everything that you might need to submit. So that way you're ready to go when that time comes. And yes, prep hours do count towards one-on-one hours. So if you're prepping for a meeting, maybe you're researching strategies, those do count towards meeting that requirement. So if you're searching or watching a webinar to help a teacher, that can count towards helping them solve that problem in that coaching cycle. I personally don't have trouble getting staff to work with me. My issue is I don't have enough time. I'm in 5 different buildings, so I have about 400 staff that I work with. So I don't have a problem with getting people to work with me. And a lot of it's being present. So when I first started off, people were a little bit more hesitant to work with me because I didn't have that relationship with them. But now that I do, I have a problem where I have to be like, hey, why don't you work with this person? Because I can't help you right now, or I can't fit you in, but this person can help you, or let's meet this way, you know, that kind of stuff. But a lot of it's just word of mouth. That's how my name got out there. That's how people wanted to work with me, is just through the conversations and seeing the evidence, and just knowing your teachers. Seeing them where they're at. Some of them might be really overwhelmed right now with hybrid or virtual or back to school learning, depending on your setting. And so maybe it's you creating a template for them and then slowly scaffolding a way to where they can do it. So you've got to know where your teachers are at. You have to know how you're dealing with them. And Stephanie Rothstein has a really good program to help with getting to know people where they're at. And personality types. It's called canwetalkedu.com. And that really helped me realize the different personalities out there, and how I connect with others a lot better. And I'm going to real quick show this because I think it's can really help with coaching. So on her site, there's a great webinar. I highly suggest watching it. I made all my staff do this so they could work with students and parents better this school year. So students take a personality test. Once they take a personality test, it goes over 4 different colors and 4 different groups that they work with. She has monthly challenges, which always get me because I'm a gold. So I probably should have started this meeting with a check-in. I'm kind of failing the October challenge right now because I was like, let's just get into this. But really, it's made me step back because I'm very low in blue. I typically don't ask people how they are. I'm more like, we got to get this done. Let's go, let's go. And so it's taken me some time to go, hey, how are you? I've had to like write in my calendar kids' names because I'm like, hey, your son had this basketball scrimmage that you were talking about. And getting to know that person and where they're at and what color they are made me a better person and a better coach because now I'm able to relate with them. In my newsletter, I send out a weekly newsletter every Sunday. I put a picture of my son AJ in it. I'm like, I don't really care if people ask me about him. I love him, but it doesn't bother me if somebody doesn't ask about him. And a lot of people really appreciated just seeing him. And I didn't realize that impact until after learning about Can We Talk EDU. And people need that. People want to know about my personal life. I didn't think they cared because I typically don't care. So sometimes you got to fake it until you can make it, right? So just writing it down and just really getting to know them. So make sure you check out Can We Talk. It will really help your coaching cycle with building relationships. Again, my teachers are doing it and they are building relationships with parents better than they ever have. When I meet with them and it's a parent issue, I'm usually like, what color are they? And they're like, green. Okay, well, greens like to ask questions. So what questions are you asking those parents to help them problem solve through this with their kid rather than telling them? And so it's just completely changed our culture in our school. And I cannot highly suggest you using this enough. I don't know if there's anything else in. Yeah, and if you want to network, you want to network. Networking has changed my life completely. I'm a better educator because of my PLN, which is Personal Learning Network. And so there is a group for you. It's called the EC Open Chat. They helped with this, bringing me on today. And they're an amazing community. You're able to go with them and just say, I'm struggling with getting people to work with me. And that's okay. I was there once. Everybody's been there. And so they're able to provide different resources, different templates. They're able to help you get there so that you're not alone. And you can use some of those strategies to help your teachers. So please use that community. Be real, be vulnerable. Let us know how we can help you. And they will. They're amazing. And we need to support each other because coaching is a hard role. You're supporting a lot of other people. And last week I had a teacher that came up to me and she just goes, how are you? Like, you're helping everybody, but how are you? You know, like, I don't think many people realize how many people you're impacting. And sometimes you do need to take care of yourself. And so this PLN is a place for you to kind of take care of yourself and vent. If you need a vent, they're here for you. All right. If there's nothing else, again, feel free to reach out on Twitter or feel free to email me. I'll put that slide up real quick. I think I got out of it actually to show off Can We Talk because I'm like a huge fan of it. I'm like Stephanie Rothstein's #1 fan. Here is my contact information. If you have any questions or need to see any evidence or anything like that, feel free to let us know. And I'm sure once people start giving their artifacts done in that coaching chat, people are going to say, is this good? Is this not good? Feedback on this. That's the community where you can get feedback to know if you're ready to submit or not. And I'm in that group, so feel free to also reach out on there. All right, guys, have a great day.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Steph, on our EC Open Chat monthly meet. We hope to, connect with all of you guys as we continue on. And I'd encourage you, Steph, to look back at the chat. You got a lot of love. So everybody's saying you made it so much more clear. So
oh, good.
Thanks so much, guys.
Please reach out if you guys have questions. Bye.
Thank you for joining us at this Global GEG event. You can watch this recording as many times as you want. Visit our website or Twitter for more information. Don't forget to join our Google group. Don't forget to fill out the feedback form. Thank you for joining us at this Global GEG event.